Let's start at St James's Park, shall we? Because Newcastle, as I mentioned, were 1-0 winners over Manchester United. Anthony Gordon getting the goal in that one. It means that Newcastle have now moved up to 5th in the table. They are 2 points off the Champions League places. Of course, there are 5 games to come today. If ever there was a one-sided game, that was it, wasn't it?
Unrecognisable. Newcastle or Man United of the past.
Yeah, just so dominant.
Well, I was thinking about this a lot last night. I kept thinking about the amount of Man United players I played with, and which is, from Keane, Irwin to Stapleton to Kevin Moran to Paul McGrath to Steve Bruce and others. There's probably a couple more in there, Fabian Barthez. And they all had qualities that were pretty much bog standard to being a Man United player. And that was a lot of character, hugely good technically, and also with a desire and mentality to play for a club of the stature of Man United, which clearly wasn't Everton yesterday. But I have a real problem with the manager now. The manager bothers me, the way that he's spinning plates around his football club. The way that... I looked at the bench yesterday and I kept thinking, well, Amrabat was brought in, a loan signing. Yeah, OK, he's not got in the team and he hasn't made, many performances or been in the team very often. And yes, they had a Champions League game in midweek, and then Reguilon, likewise, he's coming off the bench and coming on. And then I look at Varane, who's centre-half, played for Real Madrid, won everything, can't get in front of Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw playing in centre-half. And OK, you can say, well, Luke Shaw and Maguire were probably as good as any Man United players yesterday. No one covered himself in glory, by the way. And then you think of other players in that team who are thinking... Anthony, who's not been good since his time, which was obviously a manager's signature in the football club, coming because he knew him from Ajax, the goalkeeper, and I'm thinking, well, Anthony's probably thinking, how can I not be in this side? And he hasn't played well, of what's expected of him. And, and probably Højlund as well, who's came in, and it was meant to be the hope, wasn't he? And he can't get in the team in front of Martial yesterday. Now, honestly, Nat, that's down to the manager. Half-time... That was a moment you got to make changes to that team. You got to ruffle a few feathers in that dressing room. They come back out. See the reaction of Rashford when he gets substituted. 7 minutes after half-time.
Yeah.
7 minutes. Then you see the same thing with Anthony Martial. Okay, you're not happy you've been substituted, but boy, you deserved it. The pair of them deserved it, and probably a good few others as well. That's, to me, the manager, Nat. He's not got control of his football club. There is no way Ten Hag has got a dressing room that's full of characters and an ambience around the football club and in the training ground. That's not on show. What I saw yesterday, I'd love to pose this question to Man United fans or Newcastle fans, whoever, or even just general fans who think, tell me, out the two teams, do a composite of the present Manchester United and Newcastle team with injuries. You can include them players as well. Pick an 11.
A combined
11. If Newcastle don't win hands down, I'll be amazed. That tells you where Man United are at the moment, Nat.
Yeah, I can't see how many, if any, Man United player would get into that Newcastle team right now, and as a combined 11 as well. But yeah, if you want to have your say on it, Man United fans, Newcastle fans, anyone indeed, 03717 22 33 44, that's the number to call us on. You can also text us to 81089. But, what's more equally as impressive, if not more impressive about this victory for Newcastle is they have 12 first-team players out.
Well, that's more embarrassing for Man United as well.
Yeah, and yet it didn't feel like that at all. It's you're talking about Erik Ten Hag clearly spinning plates, trying to work out a winning formula, and it seems a bit silly to say it because actually, you look at their results in the Premier League and they have been one of the form teams of late.
Well, that's only if you select a certain amount of games.
Of course, yeah.
That's the narrative. Yes. That's what makes me laugh about.
Well, okay.
You can say they are the form team. Well, yeah, we'll go back 5 games. Well, let's go back 10 games.
Yeah, but hang on. That's Erik Ten Hag is one of the nominees for Manager of the Month for November, and he's the only one within the 4 that have been nominated that hadn't lost a game.
Yeah.
If memory serves me right from the nominees. So there's a reason why you can obviously say they're the form team right now. Yeah. But he's spinning plates like you're saying because even if they are winning, they're not winning well. We're not talking, wow, how brilliant were Manchester United. They're grinding out results. They tend to just win by the odd goal here and there, if they do. Whereas Newcastle, you could say exactly the same thing for Eddie Howe, spinning plates because of injuries, but there is no impact at all. It feels with those injuries because that performance yesterday was just brilliant.
Well, Anthony Gordon plays like he plays like he should do for Man United. What them performances, what we'd expect of a winger. And he's been transformed. He has Harvey Barnes, who's injured, who could come in and do a similar thing. You know, he plays with a lot of desire to get beyond fullbacks, challenge fullbacks. And I don't know, Nat. It's a really tough one because I can't believe, and yes, I understand you're saying for the month of November, but they certainly wouldn't have been candidates in September, and they certainly wouldn't be candidates in October. But
you can only go in current form. That's what we're basing it on, current form.
Do we include yesterday?
Well, no, that goes out the window now, obviously. But of course, I mean, it was a dire performance in general from Manchester United.
I can't defend them, Nat, because...
No, you can't. They didn't have a single shot on target in the second half. They only had one in the whole game. A very different story for Newcastle. OK, they only had 4 in the game in total, but they had 22 attempts. It was only 8 from Manchester United.
Well, 1-0. You know, when we go, we say, 3-0, Man United won 3-0. Where did they win recently? Just 3-0. Was it away? Was it at Fulham? They won comfortably somewhere. I can't remember where.
You're absolutely right, and I can't think off the top of my head.
Anyway, they won 3-0, and I remember thinking,
Everton.
Everton, yeah,
of course
Everton.
It was.
They won 3-0 away, and you come away and you think, God, it wasn't really a 3-0. Yesterday wasn't a 1-0
It should have been
loss.
more.
It should have been a 3 or 4-0. And that's the Man United fans have been spoilt for a long time because their managers, or the one particular manager, has been incredible at creating an atmosphere in a football club that when you represent your club, there is a standard that needs to be achieved. And then they've done that brilliantly. That's why they were so successful. I look at Newcastle yesterday, they look more like Man United than Man United do because they just have so much more about them as a team.
Well, let's hear from Eddie Howe, shall we, the Newcastle boss, because although it took until the second half for them to get on the score sheet through that Anthony Gordon goal, Eddie Howe said he was always confident that goal would come.
Yeah, I had that feeling that if we kept knocking on the door, we could get the goal that we wanted. I think I have to say they defended well. We had some really good passages of play and did open them up, but didn't really create many really presentable opportunities until the goal, really. And the goal was a brilliant move, really well finished from Anthony, and I thought that was fitting really for how well we played.
OK, Eddie Howe then, delighted with the performance from his team. We've been asking for your reaction then to that result last night, a really damning one performance-wise for Manchester United. Scott has been up. He's up early. He's joined us early morning. Morning to you, Scott. He's a Man United fan. How you doing, Scott?
Hi, Scott.
Morning.
Great to have you with us.
Well, it's nice to get through. I've tried many times.
Oh, well, you see, you've got to be up early doors. And we're here to answer the call for you, Scott.
Go on, Scott.
Tell us what you've got to say.
Well, there's a few things, and I'll try not to rant, but can either of you tell me tactically what Ten Hag is trying to do with Man U? Because I can't for the life of me see it. Not for the life of me. We don't press. We're not an overlapping side. We're not here on the break side. We're not a counter-attacking side. I cannot see what it is. I just can't. Can you?
No.
You got any idea there?
Well, yesterday, Scott, it was a clear case of get everybody behind the ball, but no one's going to press with any commitment. There is no desire to, you think of, United, you talked about attacking play. Every time you played Man United, whether it's home or away, you knew what they were going to be. They were going to be coming at you from all different angles. Wingers would always be available. Fullbacks would be getting crosses into the box. You've signed a centre-forward for 70-odd million. You signed winger for 90-odd million, or close to 90 million, who's not in the team in Anthony. And I just think, wow, this is a team that's playing like it's just got promoted from the Championship, goes to Newcastle, and is literally offering nothing.
Do you know why he played Luke Shaw on left and centre? It's because Ten Hag thinks that a left-footed player is quicker playing out from the back. What the hell? I mean, we can't play out from the back. They out-pressed us. What is this mad thinking there? Absolutely mad thinking there. Rashford, the look on on Rashford's face when he took the field on the right. He didn't want to be there from the first moment.
Really good point, Scott. Really good point. And, you look at a player last year who had definitely his best season for the club and just looks like a stranger to that player.